Well, once again, Dave Filoni has delivered in the final arc of the Clone Wars and given us an incredible episode to follow up from that last episode. This episode was really intense and engaging for almost the entirety of its runtime, and it's probably my favorite of the series, because of how well it fits in with the Revenge of the Sith and the rest of the Clone Wars series. But without further ado, let's get into the breakdown. Much like the opening of the last episode, we saw the classic Lucasfilm logo and a red Clone Wars logo. But instead of zooming out like every other episode of the Clone Wars, the logo stayed stationary, and an eerie tone played behind it. We also did not get an opening narration for this episode, even furthermore setting it apart from the rest of the series. We open right back where we left off, with Ahsoka in the tunnels surrounded by Maul's Mandalorians, as Maul tells her that he expected Kenobi. But then after Maul mentions that he knows who she is, and monologues about how sure he was that Kenobi would have arrived on Mandalore, Ahsoka contacts Rex to come and assist her. As Rex races to find Ahsoka, Maul hints that he knows about the grand plan, and that in this plan by Darth Sidious, the Jedi and the Republic will no longer be the ruling party in the galaxy. When Rex finally arrives, a firefight ensues, and Ahsoka and Maul have a short duel, but he swiftly escapes. We then cut to Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Rex, and a hologram of Obi-Wan Kenobi having a meeting about their progress of the siege, in the Duchess's palace throne room. During the meeting, Ahsoka mentioned that Darth Maul brought up the name Sidious. Obi-Wan says that the Jedi Council suspects that Sidious is the Sith Lord that they have been looking for, and that Dooku mentioned the name to him before the Battle of Geonosis, but any more information from Dooku won't be happening anytime soon, since during the Battle of Coruscant, Anakin killed him. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka then speak alone, and Obi-Wan tells her of Anakin's mission to spy on the Chancellor. Ahsoka remarks that Anakin will not feel comfortable with this assignment, as he sees the Chancellor as a mentor. Rex interrupts them and tells them that there was an attack in the underground tunnels where they first encountered Maul. A clone trooper witness there tells Ahsoka that Maul went one by one questioning the clones about Ahsoka, and that Maul noticed that ARC Trooper Jesse was older, and looked into his mind to realize that he knew about Ahsoka. As Maul interrogates Jesse, he mentions that the clones were bred as part of a plan, the plan of grand design, and that he played his part in the plan, but he was cast aside and forgotten, and that because he survived, he can thrive in the chaos that is to come. Maul then interrogates Jesse through the Force to get information that he needed about who Ahsoka is. Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, and Rex go to visit Prime Minister Almec, who they've detained. They ask him why Maul has not tried to escape yet, and he tells them that Maul doesn't want to leave, and that he has had a strange sense of dread. And when they asked Almec about Kenobi, he said that it wasn't just Kenobi that Maul wanted, it was also Skywalker. He said this as he was assassinated by Gar Saxon. Bo-Katan and some other Mandalorians chased after Saxon, but he eventually escaped. We then see all the Crime Syndicate leaders, including Dryden Vosk. Maul tells them to go into hiding because of what is about to come. Maul then mentions that both him and Dooku were one step behind, and that the dark side is ever stronger now, and that soon the galaxy will be remade, and that in the chaos they will seize what power they can, and that if they die, they will die on the field of battle as warriors. Bo-Katan, Rex, and Ahsoka then enter the Duchess's throne room to see Maul sitting on the throne with Jesse next to him. He then released Jesse back to them, and Ahsoka sent Rex and Bo-Katan out of the room as a battle outside of the palace commences. Maul tells Ahsoka of how everything is to change and how Darth Sidious is behind everything, but soon he will reveal himself. Ahsoka tells Maul that the Jedi can stop Sidious before it's too late, with his help. Maul tells her that it is already too late, that the Republic has fallen and she can't see it. There is no justice, no order, no law, except for the one that will replace it, and that the time of the Jedi had passed and they could not defeat Sidious. But perhaps together Ahsoka and Maul could. Ahsoka says that she will help him, but she has one question for him. What does he want with Anakin Skywalker? Maul responded that he is the key to everything, that he has been groomed for his role as his master's new apprentice. Ahsoka says that he is lying. Maul says that he is so certain of Anakin's fate that he orchestrated this whole war so Kenobi could lead Anakin to him. Ahsoka says that Maul is wrong when they engaged in a lightsaber duel, much longer than the one they had before. As the battle on the outside intensifies, Maul and Ahsoka continue to duel until Maul is thrown outside of a window. As Maul tries to escape the Dome City, his Death Watch forces are overrun by the clones. When Gar Saxon calls for backup, Maul does not give it to him, and tells him that he will die well. Ahsoka eventually catches up with Maul on the frames that hold the dome together. They then begin to duel again on these frames. Maul's ships arrive on the outside of the dome. As he tries to escape, Ahsoka sends him back down to the frames. She loses one of her lightsabers, and then the other. Maul cuts the frame and it leans down towards the city. As Maul attacks the defenseless Ahsoka, she's able to throw him off the edge, and he falls towards the city. She catches him with the Force, and 3 LAAT gunships come up alongside his floating body, wrap him in cable, and stun him. And a shot of Ahsoka looking through the hole which Maul made in the glass fades to black, and then the credits begin. This episode is probably my favorite of the series. If it isn't my favorite episode, then it's definitely my favorite arc. I think the dynamic throughout the episode of Maul knowing Sidious's grand plan gets more and more clear as the episode goes on, and it was really interesting to see. When we see Obi-Wan on a hologram, you can tell the definitive point at which he is talking to Ahsoka in Revenge of the Sith, before he leaves on his Venator to Utapau, but after he tells Anakin of his mission to spy on the Chancellor. Though it seems to me that Rex is kind of sidelined in the last 2 episodes, he definitely will be focused on more within the next 2, for the synopsis of both episodes is basically that Ahsoka and Rex try to deal with the execution of Order 66. In the episode 11 synopsis, it's mentioned that Order 66 has been executed, so I think the next episode will be getting Order 66 fairly close to the beginning or the middle of the episode, so that you can just keep that in mind for next week. The visuals, once again, were very stunning, and I didn't feel like the lighting was a bit overbearing like last episode. I never was taken out of the story by thinking, oh, wait, this is a computer animation. I was fully engulfed in the story. Also, the music for this episode was incredible. I barely recognized any themes. They were all completely original. I do think it would have been a nice touch to play at least some form of Duel of the Fates during Maul and Ahsoka's duel, but that's just my opinion. This episode was great, and probably, if the trailer didn't give it away that Maul knew the plan that Sidious had, I think it would have been a gradual giving of information that he knew would have been really interesting, but nevertheless, it still was. Just some interesting behind the scenes information is that Ray Park, the actor of Darth Maul in both The Phantom Menace and Solo, did motion capture for this duel. So everything Maul does with his lightsaber was actually filmed on a person to give the best possible effect. I don't think there's anything else I can really say. My only thing I guess I can say is that you should really watch this arc. No matter what way you can find to watch it, if you like Star Wars, this is incredible, and I can only assume it will get better, with Order 66 coming in the next episode and the end of the war, as well as Rex and Ahsoka trying to come to terms with what happened in the final episode. Thank you for making it to the end of this review/breakdown of The Phantom Apprentice. I understand that the review part was a little bit lacking, but I really can't say in words how much this episode blew me away. So if you like this video, don't forget to share, subscribe, and like, and until we meet again, may the Force be with you.